Every time you get behind the wheel, you are entrusted by the public to drive safely and responsibly. But driving carries inherent risks. Each year in the United States, motor vehicle accidents account for tens of thousands of fatalities on our roadways. It's important to note that driver distraction, specifically from cell phone use, has quickly become a leading cause of accidents. The portability and ever-increasing capabilities of cell phones have made them a large part of our fast-paced lives. But the distractions that they cause when used by drivers presents a huge safety risk to the public. You are about to hear from a man who experienced firsthand how dangerous and devastating it can be to become distracted while driving. As you'll see, the potential consequences are very real, long-lasting, and oftentimes severe for everyone involved.
My name is Justin Iburg, and I was born and raised in Mitchell, South Dakota, and I'm the second oldest of 4 siblings. I grew up on a second-generation family farm. On the farm, I helped with the crops, driving tractor and putting up hay, and I was just an average farm kid. I went to school at Mitchell Senior High School, and there I took mostly just general classes. I played football all through high school, and I absolutely loved it. I was an offensive lineman. I held my own, and I graduated with about 200 other classmates. On September 20th, 2010, started out as just the average day. I woke up and got ready for work and went into town, and I worked my average 9 hours, and after that I got off work and I stopped at the local Walgreens to pick up some groceries. I picked up a gallon of milk and I headed out of town. On the way out of town, they had a road construction site where they were resurfacing the blacktop. And they had a pilot car zone set up, and with a pilot car waiting. And as I approached that pilot car zone, I went through an intersection, and as I was going through that intersection, I received a text message. So as I had done any other time before that, without thinking, I reached into my pocket and I pulled my phone out and I started reading the text message. And as I was reading that text message, I heard a revving of an engine. And instantaneously after that, I heard a crash.
Highway 38, 2 east of Mitchell on Riverside Road and Highway 38.
That day I crashed into 2 vehicles and a motorcycle. The first one was a car, and behind that car was a neighbor driving his pickup. And between that pickup and my pickup was John on his motorcycle. I crashed into him going roughly 55 miles per hour. The ambulance took him from the accident, and on the ambulance ride to Sioux Falls is when he had actually passed away. A month later after the accident, I had received a phone call, and it was from the county sheriff asking me to turn myself in. And so I turned myself in at the county courthouse, and I was indicted with 2 charges. The first was a second-degree manslaughter, which is a Class 4 felony with a maximum of 10 years in prison. And the second charge was reckless driving, which is a Class 1 misdemeanor with a maximum of 1 year in county jail. When the trial came, it was a 2-day process. I had to watch as all the witnesses got up on the stand and testified against me. After closing statements, the jury went into deliberation for about 3 hours. They found me guilty. The judge gave me the maximum, 1 year in county jail, and he took my driver's license. One thing that kind of went through my mind was all those little close calls that could have happened and should have happened, but you got away with. It caught up with me, and something did happen. So, and all it takes is just that one time.
While some distractions can be just as dangerous as using a cell phone, it's the regularity of cell phone use compared to any other distraction that makes it such a problem on our roadways. Distracted driving is a major public safety concern. When you're behind the wheel, you have a social responsibility to reduce the potential for causing harm to others. Ask yourself, would you allow yourself to do something that put your loved ones in danger? Well, the other drivers that you share the road with are also parents, brothers, sisters, and children, and they have just as much of a right as you to arrive safely at their destination. Federal, state, and local laws are changing and continue to focus on protecting the public from those who choose to drive distracted. The potential criminal implications of driving distracted can be significant and include a suspended license, heavy fines, civil liability to any victims involved, and even prison time. But more important is the personal effects of a serious accident. Consider how difficult it would be to live with the devastating consequences of an accident you caused, knowing that it could have been prevented by simply choosing not to pick up the phone. The victims, not only do they not have a choice, but it's often they and their families who suffer the worst consequences.
There are 3 ways in which a driver can become distracted, impairing their ability to drive safely. These include visual, cognitive, and manual distractions. Visual distractions occur when your eyes are not on the road. Examples include entering a GPS address, making vehicle adjustments, placing a call, reading a text, and interacting on social media sites. Cognitive distractions remove your mind from driving. This can include focusing your attention on answering an incoming call, frustration from an unpleasant call or text, or simply daydreaming. It's because of cognitive distractions that hands-free devices are not substantially safer than handheld phones. Manual distractions result in not being in complete control of the vehicle. For example, taking your hands off the wheel to find your phone, eating a sandwich, making entries into your phone, or plugging in a power adapter. What makes it so dangerous to use a cell phone while driving, especially texting, is that it combines all 3 of these types of distractions into a single action. This explains why texting while driving makes you 23 times more likely to be involved in an accident. In fact, studies have shown that sending or receiving a text message takes a driver's eyes off the road for an average of 4.6 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's like driving the length of a football field with your eyes closed. Remember Justin's story. It only takes a split second of distraction to cause life-changing consequences.
I have to get rides to and from work. I can't drive from my workplace at all, and that affects my job because I can't go on service calls. Or every time I drive by there, it's always a reminder that what happened that day, and it can happen in an instant, and it only takes once.
The best way for you to avoid distractions while on the road is to prepare prior to leaving by adjusting mirrors, climate controls, and seat position, buckling up, and tuning in sound systems. You're actively reducing the number of factors that can distract you while driving. You need to also commit to avoiding all cell phone use, such as receiving calls, texting, and internet use while the vehicle is moving. Safely bring the vehicle to a complete stop out of traffic before responding to a call or message. The bottom line is that safe driving needs to be your number 1 priority every time you get behind the wheel.
There's no question that changing how you drive can be difficult. Staying in contact with your family and friends is important, but how often is a phone call or text message important enough to endanger anyone's life? The honest answer is never. Your safety and the safety of others on the road is literally in your hands. Refraining from the urge to use your cell phone takes self-control. But much like using your seatbelt, avoiding all cell phone use while you're driving needs to become a personal habit. A few suggestions to help you avoid the dangers of distracted driving. If you're traveling only a short distance, simply turn off your phone until you reach your destination. Record a voicemail message that informs callers you won't pick up the phone while you're driving, and that you'll return their message when it's safe to do so. During a longer road trip, turn off your phone and pre-plan stops along your route to check your messages and return calls. Never allow others in the vehicle to take your focus away from driving safely. Don't settle for just being a responsible driver. When you're a passenger, speak up if the driver reaches for their cell phone while driving. Their decision to drive distracted endangers everyone. It's simple steps like these that can help control distracted driving on our roadways and can make all the difference in preventing a serious accident. Other driving tips and additional information can be found by visiting one of the many websites dedicated to preventing distracted driving. These include distraction.gov, the U.S. government site for distracted driving prevention, or itcanwait.com, a public awareness campaign against texting while driving, sponsored by the nation's largest cell phone carriers. The chances of a life-changing accident increase each time you allow yourself to drive distracted. Don't fall victim to the mindset that an accident can't happen to you. Accidents can and do happen to thousands of drivers just like you every year, resulting in the loss of close friends and family. Remember, that phone call or text message can wait. Please, keep yourself and others safe by taking a zero-tolerance stance on distracted driving.